G'day everyone, welcome back to another live stream. We're doing some Sandown form. Been doing this for 1 week only, and at least this year. Last week at Flemington was, let's say, pretty tough. I think it was capped off by the fact that Flash Feeling held off Liberami. I didn't have Liberami, but the fact that almost all of Australia was on it, and it got beaten by a horse called Flash Feeling, well, that just summed up the day. In terms of my results from this live stream, it was, how many winners did I get? Maybe one. Soft Love was close. I think Taken I had in for second, who won race 6 or something. Anyway, new week, new Saturday meeting, and let's rip right into it. So, we'll start with sort of how the track's looking. So the rail's out 6 meters. We are racing on the hillside circuit tomorrow. There's going to be a 20-kilometer headwind into the home straight. So what does that mean? Well, I think if you're going to back a horse that's a query at the distance, that might be a bit of concern because it's obviously the last part of the race where it needs to show its absolute best. It's going to be running into a head breeze, so I'd be a bit cautious of that. The track condition, I don't think it's going to rain tomorrow, so it's likely going to be a good 4 or a soft 5 at the start of the meeting, and it might get upgraded to a good 4. So yeah, that's how the track's looking. Race 1, we don't need to preview because for those that have already watched my preview, I've got a little horse called Ocean Sprint. And for those who haven't watched my preview yet, that might be watching this back on replay, I'll go over it again. So Ocean Sprint in a 2-year-old race has already won on debut at Ballarat. It's 400 to 100 meters on that day at Ballarat was very good. It dropped them. It was tiring the last little bit, but it really got away like that. You can see speed on speed, Blue Point out of Fastnet Rock. It's just a real speed machine. Doesn't have to lead, can settle just in behind them. And I think Ocean Sprint. It also raced against the older horses on this day, and there was another race on that day at Ballarat, a 2-year-old maiden. They decided to bypass the 2-year-old maiden, the Tony and Calvin McAvoy team, to run in the open class. So I think that shows that they have a real good opinion of this horse, Ocean Sprint, and I'm happy to be with it. I've also got the chat over here, so if you want to tell me who you're with in race number 1 or all the races as we go along, feel free to do so. So I've come a little bit more prepared this week in terms of I've got a spreadsheet. So I've already outlined everything that I'm looking for in a race of sort of this class, this distance, with this rail position at Sandown through my racing knowledge, which over the past couple of weeks hasn't been great racing knowledge, but overall I think it's pretty good. So I'm going to give these horses a point, 1 point, if they fit these categories. And if they don't fit them but are almost fitting them, I might give them a half a point. And then the horse on top at the end, or whoever has the most points in this total category, will be my on-top selection. So that's how it's going to work this week, rather than going through each horse and going, oh yeah, this horse looks all right. It's had 10 to 15 starts. Yeah, I've got a good opinion of that one, and then forgetting by the end of when I look at each horse which one I actually liked. So we'll go through and start for this this race 2, 3-year-old fillies, benchmark 70 over 1,300 meters. I'm going to write stuff down on a piece of paper so I can copy it into the Google Sheets rather than flipping between Racing Australia and the Google Sheets like that, because that'll just be a nightmare for you guys as the viewer, and I'm sorry I just did that 3 or 4 times in a row. So Blackberry Bomb, we're going to go off this last 10 here on Racing Australia, so it's 4th up, so it gets a point. Grinzinger Pond is 6th up, so it'll get a half a point. Flatted is 7th up, it won't get anything. Marble Point is within the region, so that's a yes. Terra Lee, yes. Butternut Princess, yes. Eagle Express, yes. Legacy Bay, yes. Miss Marjon, yes. Betwitchery, yes. Versailles, yes. And Two Sigma, yes. So most horses fitted that first category except for Flattered. So I'll just go ahead and fill all that in. Velvet King's going with Marble Point in race 2. Let's see. We'll see how it goes on the total points. YOLO, but not into it. Actually, the funny thing about YOLO in the first race is that today, me and my father both bought a share in a racehorse, and the mother is a half sister to this horse. So it'll be interesting. We'll keep an eye out for YOLO tomorrow. Anyway, back to race 2. So most horses fitted that first category. Now, in terms of settles midfield, in a race like this, 1,300 metres at Hillside, I think being off the speed and sort of stalking, getting into the 3 wide line and stalking into it on a big track like Hillside is something to take note of. And if you want to know, if you don't have time yourself to do speed maps, then I would be following the TAB, which is what I've got up here. Sportsbet are very, what's the word? The speed maps aren't very accurate at all. RaceNet is sort of half getting there, but I think the most reliable one, if you can't do the speed maps yourself, is to use the TAB's version, and that's just clicking on the speed map up here. The only thing I will say with the TAB is that they don't take out horses that are scratched. So, if you've got a field of 18 runners and only 9 of them are actually in the field, it'll still have by race morning all 18 runners on the speed map. So that's the only problem with the TAB, and I wish they'd fix with their speed maps. However, I'm just going to look for horses that are going to settle sort of that midfield region and off the inside. So I'd actually give a point. I'm going to give a point to these 5 runners in the blue. Terra Lee, Eagle Express, Versailles, Butternut Princess, and Flattered. As you can see, the next category is drawn out. So I want a horse that's going to be off the inside, be out of trouble, and settling midfield or so, charging home. So we're going to give points to, so try and figure out where I am. Horses 3, 5, 6, 7, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 11. And I'm not going to worry about this. Not going to worry about this category anymore because I'm already fitting it in here. So 3 gets a point, 5, 6, 7, and 11. And then the next one is top 3 last start. So that could be finished top 3 last start, or it started a really short SP, say in the top 3 of the market, and performed under market expectations, but there might have been something wrong with it, and we can follow along the SP. So let's get onto that. And if you're doing the form at home and want to learn something, if a horse, say, comes through the main lead-up race last start and performs, like it starts $6 and finishes 9th, for example, and you think, well, that run wasn't too good, it might be something wrong with the steward's report, but I think you got to always take a notice of the SPs because the market pretty much knows everything, and if a horse starts a really solid SP and performs under market expectations, you might get a better price next start if the horse had excuses in that run where it finished 9th, if you sort of know what I mean there. So I think respective SPs are vitally important when doing the form, especially when tying in the form on a horse that might have performed under market expectations last start. And I've just forgot what I was looking for. All right, top 3 last start or top 3 in SP. So Blackberry Bomb, it had a really good SP last start of $5.50 and performed under market expectations against an eventual Saturday winner in trial by press. So even though it finished 8th, I'm going to award it a point. Grinzinger Pod also had a decent SP of $6.50. I'm going to give that a point as well. Flattered finished 3rd. That's what we are looking for, so I'm going to give it a point. Marble Point didn't finish in the top 3 last start, and it started $21. I'm going to leave Marble Point. Terra Lee started favourite, finished 2nd. It's going to get a point. Butternut Princess, decent SP. I'm going to give it a point because it finished in the top 3 last start. Eagle Express, give it a point. It finished in the top 3 last start. Legacy Bay, point, finished second. Miss Mahjong, point. And I'm not too concerned about if it's a 27k race or it's a Saturday class race because they're all 3-year-old fillies, and racing against the older horses here in a benchmark 64 might not be too dissimilar to a 3-year-old Saturday type of race. Bet Witchery finished third. Versailles finished third. 2 Sigma was disappointing. I'm going to leave that out. So it's going to be points awarded to everything except 4 and 12. So at the moment, we've got 4 horses that are all on maximum points. So, oops, wrong ones. So I'm going to highlight those in green. And then to decide who's going to be on top, I might go through each horse in a bit more detail and see what's going on. So Velvet King, use RaceNet for speed maps myself, but I do agree Tab has the most accurate information of all the bookies. I think you're on the right track, Velvet King. RaceNets aren't obviously atrocious compared to Sportsbet, but just over time and looking at speed maps and comparing them to the way the race was actually run, I found TAB to be that slightly more accurate. So you can use either. Like RaceNet's not that bad, but personally I prefer TAB. So before I decide my final judgment, if everyone wants to tell me who they're with in race 2, so that by the time I look at the chat, I'll have an idea of who everyone's on, that'd be good. So Tara Lee ran second last start behind a good horse in Aha Aha. Good SP from gate 12, had to get right back. I think Tara Lee's a decent chance. Butternut Princess is drawn out wide. Likely to settle back. Its run last start behind Highlands was all right. Eagle Express drawn 8, second up, Fitter. 3-year-old 64 last start. Mark Zara in the saddle. Its SP wasn't great, but it still ran all right. And then Versailles. Blinkers first time, nose roll off first time, gets in under the minimum weight. Those things are all in its favour. But looking at the form compared to a horse like Tara Lee, it probably has to improve. Look, out of all of this, I have to go Tara Lee. This horse, I watched it win here at Caulfield Heath and remember thinking this is a good horse. Had no luck here behind Medaya, who's since come out and won again. Got too far out of its ground here behind Aha Aha. Minor query on whether it's reaching its the end of its prep and how soon its end of prep run will come. However, it's got the best form in the race and I can't dismiss that. So if you're looking for my top 4 in the race out of the form factors highlighted, you're looking at numbers 5, 6, 7, and 11. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to lock in my top selection as Tara Lee. And this week, I have got the market up, so I can see $2.80, Butternut Princess 12, 18, and 19. Those are some juicy overs for the other 3, but Tara Lee is going to get the nod. Which type of green should I put it? I'm just going to put it this green. That looks all right, I guess. Look, if anyone remembers a racehorse called Crimson Light, we part owned it, and this bloke was in the ownership of Crimson Light. He's also in the ownership of Tara Lee. I know he's a massive fan of the channel, so to Trevor, if you're watching, good luck. I hope Tara Lee goes well. Too short, flatted is 5 kilos better off it, and Tara Lee basically dead heated last start. Good point. I think the only reason flatted wasn't on maximum points was because of the what's it called? The fact that it's 7th up. That's right. The fact that it's 7th up compared to Tara Lee, who's 4th up. 55 kilos goes up 2.5 kilos, and flatted drops down a couple of kilos. So maybe you're right there, but also gate 12, I think it'll be conceding a bit of start to Tara Lee on Saturday tomorrow compared to last start where it drew gate 4 and Tara Lee drew gate 12 and Tara Lee had to concede about 3 lengths head start to it. So we'll see who's right, but I'm happy to go with Tara Lee. So for those who don't know what races we are previewing, races 2 to 5 and 7 to 9, because race 1 and race 6 were in my video preview yesterday where I liked Ocean Sprint and Road Cone. I will touch on those 2 horses. I've already touched on Ocean Sprint. I will touch on Road Cone a bit later, but this is the format we're going to be doing it tonight, and the footy's on soon, so I'm going to try and be as quick as I can whilst also being as thorough as I can. Dave is with Flattered. We've got a couple of Flatteds in the stream tonight, so we'll see how it goes tomorrow. So race 3 now is a 3-year-old handicap over 1,400 metres. One less form factor sort of to look at. I've gone with a really specific peaking time of third up, pretty much because an open handicap for 3-year-olds, you're going to want to be at the right stage of preparation to be winning, is what I've found when sort of dealing with those 3-year-old handicap races come this time of the year. NWTM stands for no worse than midfield. So as opposed to last race, usually with 3-year-old races compared to open age races, there's typically more horses in open age races. So with 3-year-old races, I like to look at horses that will settle on speed, because I think due to less horses in the race, it's less likely to be a fast tempo. So I think horses settling on speed off a moderate to slow tempo usually do well, and that's what I look at with 3-year-old races, as opposed to last race where I think there's a tad more speed on in the fillies contest. And then I'm being pretty generous here, under $21 SP last start. That is just to purely eradicate the horses that have no chance. And to be honest, I kind of assume that every horse in this race had a SP last start of under $21. So not looking too good there, but we're going to be pretty hardball with the peaking stage and see who comes out on top. Yaldi is 10th up, so hold on. I forgot to write down how many horses were on the race on my bit of paper. Just give me a second. All right. Yaldi, no points. Just for Show is 3rd up. That's a point. Harry's Yacht is 3rd up. That's a point. Hot Diggity Boom is 6th up. Nothing. Super Nema, nothing. Waitley, 4th up, will get half a point. Zorro's Flight, 2nd up, will get half a point. Aha, 7th up. I assume Aha is the favourite, so it's going to get no points. Santa Ana Moon, half a point. Nimbus 2000, half a point. And because Aha is not in this first category, we're not just doing this form live session to find the winner. We're trying to find value as well. And I think we can with the categories that I've sort of outlined here. So let's input those results. So Just for Show is going to get a 1, and Harry's Yacht's going to get a 1. Waitley, half a point. Zorro's Flight, half a point. And then half a point to Santa Ana Moon and Nimbus 2000. Settles no worse than midfield. We're going to go to our trusty old TAB speed maps. And I'm going to pretty much slice the field in half. So 10 runners, I'm going to go with the 5 horses that show the most toe. So we're looking at, well, there's 5 in green, so it makes my job easy. We're looking at Super Nema, Waitley, Just for Show, Nimbus 2000, and Zorro's Flight. So numbers 2, 5, 6, and 10. 2, 5, 6, and 10. And 7. Sorry, Zorro's Flight. Yep, they're going to get points. So 2 is going to get a point. 5, 6, 7, and also 10. So Ahaha's actually on 0. It's going to win, isn't it? Now, these SPs. So I'm not going to mark down a point for horses under $21 SP. I'm just going to look for horses outside $21 SP and do it that way, because I expect there to be none. So these are all within the region so far. $4.40 favourites, $7.50, $4.60, $1.45, $3.50, $3.80, $3.80, $6. Okay. So that category was irrelevant, but we have got a horse that is above the rest of just 2 categories, two pure categories, so I'm not sure how accurate this will be, but Just for Show is going to be my on-top selection in race number 3. Let me know who you're with in race 3, so by the time I'm finished inputting Just for Show's name into my Google Docs little sheet, I can look over and see who you guys are with. So looking at this horse, I remember thinking, oh, this horse is going all right when it ran first up behind Landmark. Don't know what happened here, though, behind Big Swinger. Maybe just a bit of second up syndrome. Third up, peaking. Gate 8 rolls forward. Has won at the 1400 metres before in a race on Ballarat Cup Day, in fact. Yeah, Ballarat Cup Day. So maybe Just for Show might pop up. What sort of price are we looking at here? $11. All right. Although I'm not too sure how accurate this will be considering it's only off 2 form factors. But I'm happy to look at it. I'm going to have this horse in white coloured blue. Is it a light blue colour? Yeah, we'll stick with light blue. Just for show. That white background did not do anything at all like I thought it would. Alright, getting on to race number 4 now. Don't you love doing the form for a 18 horse benchmark 74? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh my goodness. This is why I didn't include this race in my preview and I forgot to check who everybody was with. Vinny's with Aha. There's 12 people in the stream right now. Vinny, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but if anyone was watching Tuesdays with Terry last Tuesday, Vinny was the young 15-year-old race caller that Terry Bailey said was the next best thing. So if any of you guys watch that or remember that, that's the same Vinny that's typing in the chat. So Vinny, go well with your career. Velvet King, Aha, too good. Dave's with Just for Show. Thank you, Dave. Top Trainer and Informed Rider. Top Trainer is accurate because they've got War Machine and Rise at Dawn in the top 3 in the market in the Stradbroke, which is the main race. And Ben Allen, he's up there riding Pinstriped, although that was a year ago. And he is in good form of recent times with no Blake Shin, with no Craig Williams here in Victoria. Let me talk through these categories for this race. 3 to 4 year olds. So often in these benchmark 70, benchmark 78 races, you get, performance issue alert. It gave me Just for Shows, so not sure what the issue is there. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying before, benchmark 70s, benchmark 78s, usually you get these 6-year-olds, 5, 7-year-olds that have found their mark. But what I'm trying to aim at with that 3 to 4 year old sort of category is we want a horse that's up and coming that hasn't really found their peak yet, can go to a new level, which is with a benchmark 74 Saturday race, I think important. Also lightweight. This is probably the case for all races come winter time, but a horse that gets in well at the weights, I want to highlight. And then within 3 lengths of last start, I'm going to give a 0.2. And I might be pretty kind to different horses with starting prices. Like we said before about respective SPs, we need to take note of that. So, race 4, 18 horses at the moment. There's going to be 16 come tomorrow. Blondo's a 7-year-old. We're going to look for 3 to 4 year olds first. So, Blondo's a 7-year-old. Not looking at it. I'm going to give Prince of Nottingham a half a point for being a 5-year-old. Because we do give half a points out here on the Seminator channel. Dirty Grin, half a point. Rogue Rock is a 7-year-old. Impressive Enough is a 6-year-old. Eye of the Eagle will get half a point. Far Flung, nah. Georgia Get Mad, nah. Lardy Shah's out. Sir Atlas, nothing. Walenda is going to get a point. Flying Mickey is going to get a half point. Legend of Dubai, 7-year-old. Van Roy, 6-year-old. Serious Statement is a 5-year-old, so we're going to give it a little half a point. Stylish is going to get a point. Saxon King's going to get a half a point. Bolt Saver's going to get a point. And Impending Link, who ran against the next future Group 1 superstar in the Genius, who we part own, is going to get a half a point for being a 5-year-old. No, obviously I was just kidding with that. The Genius, actually, if anyone knows who that is, raced by Mailbag Bloodstock. He did a tendon last week and probably won't ever race again. So we lost a horse there. It's not dead, thankfully, but it's more than likely not going to race until it's at least 8. And if it miraculously does race again, I don't think it'll be that good. So there's a bit to input after that. We got some horses. About half the field didn't get a point, and some of the field, maybe quarter of it got half a point, and another quarter got a point. As I try to multitask here. Seems like these horses down the bottom are doing well, and they're probably going to do well in this next category of being a lightweight. So how am I going to do this? You know what I'm going to do? I might go the 5 horses that have the lowest weight are going to get a point, and the 5 horses that have the 6th to 10th lowest weight are going to get a half a point. So I'm not too so I'll keep it fair. I think I'm trying to get at here. But all the horses that have the least amount of weight now are going to be pretty much apprentices, which I don't mind. Apprentices are very beneficial this time of year. So I'm trying to work out the maths in my head as fast as I can here. Horses 11, 14, 16, 13... are going to get a point. 11, 13, 14, and 16. And then I'm going to give a half a point to the horses that I just figured out to be 58 kilos. So that goes to Luke Cartwright's mount. That goes to Ryan Houston's mount. That goes to Serious Statement. So that's 3 I've given out. And then it'll be Georgia Get Mad is going to get a point because I forgot to see that horse. Yeah, I probably should have figured this out before I did this live stream, so I didn't have to think as much. All right, that's what we're going to do. So it's going to make a lot more sense with the visual so you guys can see it. But Dirty Grin's going to get a half a point. Georgia Get Mad's going to get a point. There's going to be a half a point for Sir Atlas, 1 for Wallenda. And then we're going to go 1 Legend of Dubai, 1 Van Roy. Serious Statement, half a point. Stylist is going to get a point. And then Bolt Saver and Impending Link with half point. Now we go within 3 lengths last start or SP that's pretty much right in the market and performed under market expectations. Blondo, not going to get a point. Just imagine Blondo winning tomorrow. Sorry to put that image in your head, but we'll move on. Prince of Nottingham, no. Dirty Grin is going to get a point for that. Rogue Rocker, yes, it's going to get a point. Impressive Enough, 1, so that's going to get a point. I have the Eagles started favourite, so I'm going to give that a point as well. Far Flung is first up. Nah, bypass it. Georgia Get Mad was within 3 lengths, so it's going to get a point as well. Sir Atlas started favourite, but it is first up. Doesn't matter. I'm generous. I'll give it a point. Wallenda, it was close up last start. It's going to get a point. Flying Mickey is going to get a point. I should have done it the other way around and just looked for horses that didn't match this category because I'm handing out lots of points. Van Roy, no. Serious Statement started favourite. It's going to get a point. Stylish, going to get a point. Saxon King, nah. Bolt Saver will get a point, and Impending Link, I watched its last start, so I know exactly what to give it. So, let's put in these final results and make sure to tell me who you're with in race 4 of tomorrow's Sandown card. So by the time I look over, I can sort of see who everyone agrees on, and if they agree on the horse that happens to have the highest number of points on this little system that I'm doing. Okay, so we've got two horses with maximum points, and that is Walenda and also Stylish. So I'm going to put that in. Walenda's sort of a blue with a different coloured blue. That's probably going to be hard to tell. This is going to blend in, isn't it? I'm just going to give it that... Oh, no, I've stuffed it up there. Hold on, bear with me. I'm going to give it that coloured blue. I know it doesn't look great, but I'm just going to give it that. And then Stylish is the Rupert Lee colours. Dark blue with a little bit of white in there. Sorry, a bit of yellow in there. Oh, how good does the Rupert Lee colours look? As this loads, I'm going to see what the prices of these two horses are, and then see if anyone here likes Walenda and or Stylish. Race 4, Walenda, $14. Oh, it's drawn gate 17. That's all right. Logan Bates is on, and Stylish $6.50 for Ben Allen. So they're sort of around the mark. Walenda's drawn out a bit wide. Looking at that, Stylish looks to be about to peak in its campaign and all of that, and it's drawn better for a better run. So I might lean the way of I might put that here, leaning to this horse. Just for those that are watching this back on replay that are skipping till the end and not watching the full thing like they should. Leaning to this horse. All right, now, who is everybody with in the chat? Genius is about a benchmark 64 to 70 grader, right? Yes, that's right, Vinny. You've got the right horse, although there is a lot of benchmark 64 to 70 grade horses. Dirty Grin for Dave, Dirty Grin for Vinny. Is Dirty Grin the favourite? It is. It's 270. Ooh, well found, but look at that. 11312. You know what you're going to get from that horse. It's drawn gate 5 and got the 3 kilo claim. And, most importantly, it's got a Sky rating of 92. Sky ratings tell the absolute full picture of what you need to know for a horse's chances. That was a joke. All right, so it's been 30 minutes and we've only got through 3 races. So let's have some fun over the next hour or so going through the next 4 races, because race 6 we're not doing. And we're moving from an 18-horse 74 field to a 17-horse fillies and mares 74 1600 field. Let me get all these numbers down, and then I will be telling and elaborating a bit more about the categories I'm looking for. By the way, is this format all right? I thought, in my head, I feel like this is going okay, but I'm the one that's telling it all and not actually watching along. So please tell me if this is all right. I hope it's an improvement from last week where I was absolutely struggling to find ideas. So, settles midfield to worse. No, settles midfield or worse, meaning that because, like I said before, this is an open class race with a lot of horses, likely to be a lot of speed. I want the horse that's going to be sort of off the fence and storming into the straight. That's the case with most fillies and mares races at these types of big tracks like Sandown, and this, I reckon this can fit into one category. I'm not going to do these two separately. I'm going to do them together. No, I've changed my mind. I'm going to do them separately. I'm going to be generous again within $21 SP last start. We might actually find a couple of horses out here because it is a fillies and mares 74 race. What I mean by ran on last start, and this is going to be the one that sort of throws form guides out the window, is that wherever it was settling at the 800 metres of last start, it needs to have finished a better position than what I was at the 800. Because with these fillies and mares races, you want a mare that's in form. There's unlikely to be any fillies in this race, so you want a mare that's in form and a mare that you can go off, judging off the form guide paper last start, you can look at where it ran on from and where it finished and go, this horse is ready to do something next start. So that's that. And then if there's any horses of the 17 that are on tied points, the tiebreaker is peaking in their campaign. So if there's a horse that's been up for a while compared to a horse that's, say, third or fourth up, I'm going to, lean towards that horse that's third or fourth up. So let's get on to things. We go back to our old trusty TAB speed map. There's currently 16 people in the live stream at the moment. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. So what was I looking for? A horse that settles sort of midfield or worse. How am I going to do this? Like, this is sort of telling me a bit, but it's not telling me a great deal. I'm just going to look at Suances for a second because it says that it's the fourth quickest out the gates, but I'm pretty sure, it settled 11th here. This is why I do my own speed maps and not just look at this. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go against what I said before and doing the two of these categories separately. I'm just going to do them together because it's going to be my head's going to be, I can't even find words anymore. So I'm going to give points to probably Suances and further out. Yep, that's how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to give a point to Suances and anything further out than that, except for Extreme Virtue, who's likely to go to the front. We want horses on this hillside track that are powering home late. I want to see that as an on-top selection. So I'm just giving all these horses a point. And then we can move on to the next category. Sky High Horse Racing has entered the chat. Welcome, Sky. How cold is it in Melbourne? Freezing in Brisbane. I'm not sure what freezing weather is for you, considering you live in Queensland. But what's it about here? About 13? I don't know. I live down on the Mornington Peninsula, so it's about 3 degrees lower down here than what it is in the heart of Melbourne. Vinny says it's 10. -4 in Brisbane. Jeez. I wasn't expecting that. All right, back on topic. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 13, 17, 18. All right, we're going to have the first category out the way, and this category doesn't count anymore. It's irrelevant. Under $21 SP last start. I'm going to do the opposite, and you know what? I might take off a point for anything that's under over $21 SP last start, just to make things a little bit more easier on myself. Pariah Pearl, 11. Extreme Virtue, 460. Trial by Press, 16. 18. We're looking for 21 or above. 370. $5. Blistering is above $26. Look, I know this is the thing. I know it finished well here, but it exceeded market expectation just a little bit. So I have to take a point off. We're just looking at respective SPs. No finished position. We don't know the full tale of the race. Maybe a couple of the good horses might have been held up and flattered a horse like Blistering a little bit. Indian Jewel, Swanses was 15s. That's getting close. Lady Pappy Gate, 13s. Our Red Morning, 61s. It is getting a point taken off. Eloped, 61. It's getting a point taken off. And I know it won last start, but $61. I don't want to be with a horse that has that sort of SP profile. These are all fine. Belmere, point off. So I'm going to put that stuff in now. So -1 Blistering, -1 to Our Red Morning and Eloped, and also Belmere. Ran on last start. So this is the interesting factor that I want to take a look at. I need a horse that fits the bill of last start, finishing at a closer position to what it was at the 800 metres. I want a mare that's ready to do something this start. Let's go through them. And to the leaders of this race, pretty unlucky. First at the 800, finished 8th. Pariah Pearl, no. Extreme Virtue, first, finished 2nd, no. Trial by Press, 3rd, it finished 1st. Trial by Press is getting a point. Make It Sweet, 5th, finished 6th. Finished 5th. It's been a long day. 5th, finished 6th, no. Call Me an Icon, 4th, finished 1st, it's getting a point. Until Valhalla, 6th, finished 5th, it's going to get a point. Blistering, 8th, finished 3rd, gets a point. Hannah Fabuki, look, it's first up, but I have to give it the point. Indian Jewel, 10th, finished 3rd, it's getting a point. Stuances, 11th, first, it's getting a point. Lady Pappy Gate, it's getting a point. All right. Arid Morning is not getting a point. Eloped is not getting a point. Cinematic Stars getting a point. Sound It Out is not getting a point. Dealing Aces will be getting a point. Belmea will not be getting a point. Let's input that, and then we have to go to the tiebreaker because I assume there's multiple horses on the same amount of points as each other. 15 and 17. So we've got ties for 6, 8, 9, 11 and 17. This might be a good time to write who you're with in the chat, so maybe I'll have a better chance of separating these horses when it comes to crunch time. Actually, there's 6 horses that are on have the same amount of points as each other. 3, 6, 8, 9, 11, 17. Am I missing one? 6. There we go. So, we need to look for a horse out of these 6 that are peaking in their campaigns. I'll be the judge of this. Let's start at the top. Trial by Press is 3rd up. That's peaking. That is as good as peaking. Well, that's as good as peaking as you can get. It's getting a point. Until Valhalla. Ooh, it's 9th up. I'm not giving Until Valhalla a point. Hannah Fabuki's first up. Not giving it a point. Indian Jewel is 3rd up. That is the best peakingness you can get. Suances is 6th up. I'm happy to not give it a point here. Dealing Aces is 3rd up. I'm giving it a point. There's 3 horses here that have got the maximum amount of points. Trial by Press, Indian Jewel, and Dealing Aces. If anyone would like to say who they think the best chance out of those 3 horses are, feel free to do so. It'll help me out a lot because this is the first time I've actually looked at this race in depth. So we're going to get all these horses in the little Google Docs. Trial... Oh, what happened to the bold? Trial by Press. Predominantly yellow with some blue action. Thank you to all 16 people currently in the stream. The fact that there's still 16 people must mean that I'm not boring you too much. And this might be an interesting and fun concept. Indian Jewels, predominantly green with a splash of yellow. Maybe it might not be that green, but I'm just going to go with it. That looks like the September run colours. And then, oops, wrong thing to click on there. Oh, that green looks better. And then Dealing Aces, who's got the Simon Wild silks. Grey and a bit of pink. Oh, how good does that look? Let's look at the odds of those 3 horses and see if there's any over the odds. Trial by Press is $16. Pretty good. Indian Jewel is $16. Wow. Dealing Aces is $17. You could probably back all three of them, to be honest. And look, it's $5.50 the field. It's not like there's a sure thing in this race. Have I found three of value, or am I off my head? Wow, there's been a lot of text messages. Uh, text messages. Oh yeah, Sky. I was meant to message you yesterday, but I'm sorry to hear, mate, that you had that car crash. I hope you're all right. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're mentally staying strong, and physically, hopefully, you can get through whatever accident happened on Wednesday. Hopefully, it wasn't anything major. Vinny likes extreme virtue. Well, it's hard to look past extreme virtue. First, third, second, it'll go straight to the front. Probably Hillside's the only query, and the long straight. And it is your birthday today, Sky High Horse. It's Sky High Horse Racing's birthday today. Everyone wish him a happy birthday in the chat if you haven't already. And he's a big fan of the channel Sky High Horse Racing, which gives you even more reason to do so. Happy birthday, mate. Cole likes dealing aces, or that's either he thinks the best chance out of the three I've mentioned. Vinny says dealing aces is a great chance, has great sprint, third up, good ratings. That's good enough for me. I might lean to dealing aces. I remember highlighting it all the way back here when I used to do my trial show, that it was one to follow. It won 2 in a row. Simon Wild has these mares that do well. We've got Wishlaw Lass, plenty of ammo. Dealing aces. Came back here in the Warrnambool Carnival. Not sure about it on a soft track. Got back, didn't do much. And then at Casterton last start, I know it was only at Casterton, but it zoomed home, maybe back on a firmer surface, ready to show its best at start 5. Looks like we're up to a race I've already previewed, and I do like Road Cone. For all those that didn't watch my preview, I do like Road Cone. Oh, the footy started. I'm going to have to go back up and watch the footy soon, because for those who don't know, I love AFL. And there's a good game on tonight. Oh, you can't even read that. A good game on tonight between the Hawks and the Crows. Alright, so quickly talking about this, because I've already said stuff in my preview about it. It's going for 3 on the bounce. It bolted in at this track and trip last start. It's back in class. Although there's a little bit more pressure up front in this race, I think this horse is very versatile. It has to be following its racing pattern midfield or further forward, but it doesn't have to be leading like it has been its past 2. Luke Cartwright claims 3 again, bring it down to 56.5 kilos. Although it only carried 51 last start, I still think it's a great chance. Like, it's very progressive. It's only had the 12 starts. It's looking for 3 on the bounce. Road Cone is why I included it in my preview yesterday, was because I was confident enough on it. Alright, we've got 3 races to go to do our sort of form factory preview thing. And race 7 is an open handicap over 1800. 4 categories here. I'll go through them after I've finished noting all these down on the pieces of paper. Wasn't your fault, the car crash, Sky. That's great news. I don't know if you have a dash cam or not, but that'd be helpful. Dave, who do I support? Yeah, it's not looking too good at the moment. This is my wallet. If you can't tell, it is Essendon. It's an Essendon wallet. I am a big fan of the Essendon Bombers, and I'm sacrificing watching and having a punt on the races tomorrow to going to the MCG and watching them get absolutely pumped by 80 points by the Cats. Because for those who don't follow the AFL, we have had about 10 debutants this year, and 2 more tomorrow. And to be honest, I haven't seen success at all in my lifetime as an Essendon fan. So I'm not totally disappointed, because I get to see the kids play. We've unearthed some good kids, like not too many at the moment. Archie Roberts is a good kid, I guess. And Isaac Kako and Nate Caddy are showing potential. In terms of the new kids, I actually think Zach Johnson's doing all right. Anyway, we're getting off topic, but yes, I do support the Essendon Bombers, and I really want to see a final win pretty soon. And I know that's not going to come this year, hopefully next year. What am I looking for? I was going to go through these form factors. So, settles midfield or worse. 1,800 metres at Hillside. On a deck where I think there's going to be potentially good track but a little bit of juice in it. I think it's where you want to be by this stage of the day, down the outside. Within 3 lengths last start or a similar SP of top 3 in the market. I think we want a horse that's sort of around the mark, drawn out. So this is a similar thing to what we've been doing before, and this is probably an irrelevant column considering it's an open handicap, but just in case we land on a horse who was competing at Wednesday 55k level last start, I want to be following a horse that's consistently running on a Saturday. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of horses on an equal amount of points here, so we're going to go to our trusty old tab speed map. If it loads. Looking for horses settling midfield or worse that have drawn out to settle off the fence and whooshka into the straight. Just looking at these horses' names, I think Sadie Zadati is going to be prominent in the run. For those of you who have just joined the stream, maybe in the last 30 minutes or so, and didn't catch what I was saying at the start of the video, if you don't have time to do your own speed maps and want to follow along a speed map from online, Sportsbet is really misleading. RaceNet is around the mark, but I think the TAB is the best option. And the only thing wrong with the TAB is that they don't take out the horses that have been scratched out of their system, so we're stuck with them and have to look at them all the time. How am I going to do this? All right. Drawn out, I'm looking for... I'm going to say Pudding, gate 7, further out, that settle off speed, midfield to worse. So I'm going to give a point to 4, 6, 8, 9, 12. 4, 6, 8, 9, 12. They're going to get to where I want them to be. I'm assuming, even though this horse is drawn wise, Sayedity Sadati, I'm expecting it to go on with the job, looking at its form of prior runs and lead from that wide barrier rather than go back. So that's why I'm not giving it a point. Actually, I might give it a half a point just in case they decide to go back. So let's put that into the system, the Salmonator system. That's not what it's called, but I just like calling it that because it sounds cool. Pudding, Lavish Thinker. Within 3 lengths last start or similar SP, let's go on with that. Whitecliffe, it's first up, but its SP was good, so I'm going to give it a point. Whitecliffe is part owned by the Balnarring Racing Club president. That means absolutely nothing to no one watching the stream, but I thought I'd just say it. Forgot You, yes, it finished within 3 lengths last start. Tempesti, yes. Charterhouse, just finished 0.12 lengths outside where it needed to be. Should I give it a half a point? You know what? Let me know in the comments. Should I give Charterhouse a half a point for being 0.12 lengths outside where I want it to be, or just give it a 0? You guys decide. Dave says that's okay. At least it's not Collingwood. Yes, I do not like Collingwood. Earlswood is a yes. It's in there. Milford. Oh. Same applies with, forgotten the horse's name already. Same applies with Charterhouse. It's 0.06 lengths outside where we need it to be. Do I give it a half a point, or do I bin it all together and give it 0? 0.22 lengths outside where we need it to be. You know what? I'm leaning towards giving them a half a point here, so you guys let me know, but I'm leaning towards giving him a half point. Dublin Journal's going to get a point. Windstorm's getting a point. Vinny says yes. Yes to what, Vinny? Yes, half a point or none? Pudding is a yes. Lavish Thinker is a yes. Wow. 2 yeses. All right, that must mean that I'm giving him a half a point. So no horse in that form thing got 0 points. So that's really helpful. 111.5, 1.5.5, 111. Okay, now Saturday race last start. At the moment, we've only got 3 horses that are on the same amount of points as each other. We can live with that. Most of these will be a yes, 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 and no. All right, so we got 3 horses on the same amount of points as each other. Let me know who you're with in race 7 tomorrow at Sandown and who you think is the best chance out of Saban, Dublin Journal, and Pudding. Let's put those in. Saban in the Rosemont red and white. Dublin Journal. It's sort of, what do we give it? I don't know. There's no real 2 colours with the Hayes team. I'm just, that doesn't look great, but I'm going to stick with it. And then Pudding is sort of the aristocratic mist colours. It's sort of the darkish blue with the, I guess the green. That doesn't make sense. All right, half a point. That's good. Road Cone on top. Watch out for Nation's Call. Nation's Call is going to be 4 lengths defeated tomorrow by Road Cone. With the weight swing, they should be going over the line together and was extremely wide last start. Well, maybe Nation's Call can improve, but I just think Road Cone's got so much ability up its sleeve that it could just bolt away again tomorrow. Cole reckons the 9 Dublin Journal out of those 3. Let me see the starting prices actually. Saban 420, Dublin Journal 11, Pudding at 13. So Saban's 4th up, Dublin Journal 5th up, and Pudding's hard fit, but it gets under the minimum. So does Saban. I'd be leaning towards Saban here, considering it's 4th up peaking and it's got 51 kilos. Where we want it to be, gate 10, drawn out, storming down the middle. Saban, anyone agree? Not at the moment, so that fills me with a lot of confidence. Race 8, benchmark 84, 1,000 metre dash. 17 of them. I love doing the form. All right, get these down on the piece of paper so it makes the data entries a little bit more cleaner. Now I'm going to go through these form factors. So, hard fit. The thing you got to think about with the Sandown Hillside Circuit is the 550 metre straight. Now, often, especially with the head breeze that's going to come tomorrow, that finds horses out that are a bit of a query at the distance or are not race fit. So 1,000 metre horses that are good at 1,000 metres are typically 1,000 metre horses. That's obvious, isn't it? Forget that I said that. That's too obvious. So you want I want to find a hard fit horse that is going to handle the headwind and might have the ability to run a strong 1,100 metres over this 1,000 metre contest. Settles no worse than midfield. This is the case with most 1,000 metre races across the country, but it's a sprint. It's over like that. I want a horse that's able to put itself right there in the striking line. Top 3 last start or similar SP. That's obvious. We've been through that. 4 to 5 year old. So I don't want like an old 7-year-old horse that's sort of past its best and might wind back the clock. I want a horse that's either coming into its prime, could go further, or is found its level, but is still got room for improvement, if that makes sense. And the same thing like last start, a Saturday race last start. I want a horse that's been consistently running at Saturday level because, I think they're up to the class and all of that stuff. Anyway, let's see. So by hard fit, I'm sort of looking at 5th up and beyond, and 4th up might get a half a point. I'm going to do that. Let's do this. Let's find the winner. Also, Lavish Thinker. You see there's a J Rodder in there. Most of you won't know who that is, but he is with the MRC, and we're good mates. So hopefully Lavish Thinker goes well. Katsu, first up. Nope. Red Hot Nick, first up. Nope. Karakazoo is 5th up. It's going to get a point. Aaron T, 4th up. Half a point. Talbragar, 2nd up. Nothing. Harry Got Styles, 4th up. Is going to get half a point. Chris Dilly, 1st up. Nothing. Miss Icelandic, 4th up. Is going to get a half a point. Port Albert, 4th up. Is going to get half a point. Kadigo, 5th up. It's going to get a point. Along the River, 2nd up. Nothing. Chinqui is 8th up. It's going to get a point. Manolo Bling, 3rd up. It's going to get nothing, although I do love Manolo Bling as a horse. Moonhaven, 2nd up. Nothing. Rattle and Bang, nothing. Pano's Bride is going to get a point, and Spear is scratched. So take that out of your race books. All right, so we've got some interesting results here. This is interesting. Because we got only 4 horses that got 1 point, and 4 horses that got a half a point. We can get rid of Spear. To go delete row. There we go. All right. Well, this is good. Well, sort of. It's sort of good. Don't know yet. Depends if we find the winner or not, I guess. So with this, I'm going to cut the field in half again. So I'm going to go the top 8 that the TAB have going that way. Maybe that way for you guys looking at home. But for me, it's that way. The top 8 going that way on the speed map. Windstorm, no wait, overdue. Windstorm won't win. Wow. Vinny just said it straight. Windstorm won't win. Cole likes Harry Got Styles. Vinny likes Manolo Bling. Harry Got Styles won't win either, Vinny. Wow. There's a lot of horses that won't win tomorrow. 19 people currently in the stream. Thank you all for your support. I really do appreciate it. And we're getting towards the end of the stream now, so you won't have to listen to me talk for much longer. Oh. Well, there's 10 horses in green and Spear is out. So we just have to get rid of one of these. I'm going to get rid of Harry Got Styles because it is the furthest back. But I might give Harry Got Styles a half a point because it's, it's green. So let's do that then. So 15 is going to get a point. And then so is 5 and 10. 6, half a point. 9. 16, 13, 12. Then 1 and 2. Let's input those results. Settles no, that stands for no worse than midfield for anyone who's just joined the stream. For anyone wondering, that stands for no worse than midfield, the NWTM. All right, top 3 last start. So that's not within 3 lengths. That's finishing in the top 3 last start or top 3 SP in its race. We don't exactly know that, but I'm just going to guess. So an SP of around $5 will do. Katsu, no. Red Hot Nick, no. Karakazoo, $7 SP. I'm going to give a half a point to Karakazoo. Aaron T, no. Talbragar. Actually, no, I'm not going to give any points to Karakazoo because I'm thinking within 3 lengths again. Talbragar, no. Harry Got Styles, 1, so that's a point. Chris Tilly, no. Miss Icelandic, no. Port Albert, no. Kadigo, no. Gee, there's a lot of no's. Along the River was a winner, so it's a point. Chinqui, yes, it finished Third behind Namesake. Manolo Bling. Good SP, yes. Moonhaven. Half a point. I'm going to add that half a point back on the Karakazoo because I feel like it. Rattle and Bang. Good SP, yes, that counts. Pano's Pride, yes. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to give Karakazoo anything. I'm torn on that. I'm not going to give it anything. 12, 13, half a point. All right, 4 to 5-year-old. So we're looking for a horse, obviously, that's coming into their prime, and we're going to give a half a point to 3-year-olds and 6-year-olds. Katsuza, yes. Red Hot Nick. Katsuza, yes. Red Hot Nick's a half a point. Karakazoo, half a point. Aaron T, half a point. Talbrigard, nothing. Harry got Styles. Yep. Chris Tilley, yep. And Miss Icelandic is also a yes. Port Albert and Kadigo are a yes. Along the River, we get a half a point. And Chinqui's going to get a yes. Manolo Bling's going to get a half a point. Moonhaven, a yes. Rattle and Bang is not going to get anything. Pano's Pride, yes. You know what? I might actually give Manolo Bling a point because the fact that it's a 3-year-old against this open company shows X factor. All right, half, half. And then go 1, 1, 1, 1. Half, 1, half. Sorry, 1, 1, and 1. And then Saturday race last start. This is the final form factor for this race. Yes, I'm just going to go off nose. This was a Saturday. Yes. They're all yeses. So far, everything's a yes. Along the River's a no. Along the River is a no. Take note, Along the River's a no. Moonhaven is also a no. 11, 14. 15's a no. 16's a no. 11, 14, 15, 16 are all no's. We have our winner, ding, 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 Chinqui. And this just happens to be one of the Saturday set picks for Kingsley Bartholomew off the Wolf Den. If anyone watches that, he's a very good judge, and he's got Chinqui. Anyone agree with Chinqui? Katsu won't win either. Wow. Anyone agree Chinqui? Let's add that in. For those of you that, which one's brown? Dark Magneto. Do they not have a brown? Dark red. It's going to have to be this dark reddy colour. So for those of you that aren't sold on Chinqui, it's hard fit. It's 8th up, which is what we want in a 1,000-metre contest into a 20-metre 20 kilometre an hour head breeze with a 550-metre straight. Settles no worse than midfield, which is beneficial. It'll put itself on speed. Finished 3rd last start, beaten 3/4 of a length behind Namesake. Fits the bill. Is a 4-year-old. I'm pretty sure it's a 4-year-old. It fits the bill. Saturday race last start. Yes, it did. So it's up to the class. It's the only horse in the race that has all these aligned. And if you're looking for others that almost fit this bill, Pano's Pride, Manolo Bling, Kadigo, and Harry Got Styles, and potentially Port Albert might be horses to chuck in for your quaddie. Vinny says Chinqui's a chance, so he hasn't completely written it off, so that's good. I'll take that. And for the last, you'll see that there's no Google Sheet, and that's simply because I was trying to brainstorm what I could find for a handicap 1400 metre race, but the results are so inconsistent with those types of races that I had no idea what I was looking for. So I'm either going to leave it up to the majority decision of the chat of who you want me to put in the spreadsheet as the on-top pick for race number 9, or I'm going to look through Racing Australia and just go with the best horse in the race. I don't care weights, I'm just going to go the best horse in the race. Because usually at this distance, there's some decent horses running in them. So there's no Group 1 stars. Limbs Kosciuszko's running. That's something. Detonator Jack's not bad. He is a Group 1 horse. But he's going to get back. Look, I have no, I don't know. My head's hurting from doing so much form. So if any of you want to tell me who I should go with in this race, who any of you are with, and I will put it in the Google Sheets, that'll be good. Just looking off these names, Hughes, 52 kilos, and it's a last start winner, and the Open, and even Step Aside. Step Aside's a good horse, you know. I get the emails from Terry Henderson, and he told me to back Step Aside when it ran on this day, when it ran third, and could have finished closer than it won here. Actually gets it gets about 3.5 kilos off Hughes, and it's third up now. What's the Open done? Should I go Step Aside? Vinny likes Step Aside. All right, I'm going for it. Step Aside. Me and Terry Henderson are good contacts with each other, so I could, and for those of you who don't know who Terry Henderson is, he runs OTI, so I could message him about it and say, is there a sneaky chance tomorrow or what? He's obviously not going to reply within 5 minutes because he didn't grow up in a generation surrounded by technology. Why am I looking at the speed map? I was just going to look at the price. $4.80, $10 Step Aside. All right, it's straight in. And that's not off any form factors or anything like that. Step Aside is in. All right, now we're going to go back over each race, not thoroughly, but we're going to go back over everything in this Google Docs. I'm going to say who I'm with and sort of who my on top selection is. So let's do it. Ocean Sprint, already said that in my preview. Hey, Adam Kennedy's entered the chat. Big fan of the channel, is always one of the first people to comment on the previews. So, Adam, I really appreciate all your support on the videos. As always enjoy reading your comments and the fan cup selections because you usually do all right. So, Ocean Sprint, said in my preview yesterday, I like it. Tara Lee in a pretty even 3-year-old fillies contest, I just think looks to be the most progressive horse in the race. Just for show, in that 3-year-old handicap, looks to be peaking third up and can put itself on speed. It's also double figures. In the benchmark 74, I think Walenda and Stylish look the most progressive horses in that field, leaning towards Stylish because it maps better from gate 3 and peaking third up compared to Walenda, who's jumping from gate 17 as my laptop is about to die. In this Fillies and Mares 74 contest, I've highlighted 3 horses that fit the bill around the $15 mark. Trial by Press, who's drawn out a little bit wide. Indian Jewel, who ran on well last start, and Dealing Aces. I'd probably be following Indian Jewel and Dealing Aces. I think we came to a consensus earlier on about Dealing Aces. Road Cone. Chairman195 says, who should I jump on? Essendon tomorrow against Geelong. They'd probably be about 50-1. And I'll be there waving my scarf 30 seconds before the game, showing my support and watching Archer May kick 4 goals. Road Cone, as I said in my preview, really like it. Saban, I was leaning to in race 7, but if you're looking for horses to throw in your exotics, I just broke this pen. Dublin Journal and Pudding look to be good chances at around the $10 mark. In race 8, the benchmark 84, this horse actually came out on top and was the only horse with the most amount of points in the race. It was Chinqui. It's also the King Zone's Saturday set tip, so gives me even more confidence. In all seriousness, Champman195, look back through the chat, look who Vinny calls it is on, and jump on his tips, because his dad is a pro punter, and that's good enough for me. And I think me and Vinny came to a consensus in race 9 that we were just going to go step aside due to the price, the weight swing on the favourite Hughes, and the fact that it's third up, and the fact that I'm good contacts with Terry Henderson. And if I need to message him about it and see if it's an actually good thing, then he can let me know. So, can't believe you stole HMA. Yes, I know. We are pretty lucky. And also Lockie Blackiston, who's playing his first game and more than likely going to go on Jezza. So that'll be interesting. So that's going to do it for this live stream preview. I appreciate everyone that tuned in. I think we got up to 20 viewers at one stage, which I'm absolutely grateful and thankful for. Now I'm going to sit back, watch the Hawthorn versus Adelaide game because I've missed the first quarter. And yeah, that's going to be my night. Hopefully you guys have a good evening. And what happened to my live stream? Am I going to have to end it another way? Yeah, probably. Oh, this isn't ideal. Hopefully I'm coming through all right. Yes, it still says I am. Guys from Wolfden could be watching. Link your stream sometimes to the site. Come and say hello in Pack Chat sometimes, am. I do look at Pack Chat quite a lot, Dave, and I sometimes, every time I want to contribute to it, it's always to, bag a jockey ride. So I don't say much, but you know what? Maybe more regularly I'll contribute. Vinny says, thanks, Sam. Thank you, Vinny, for tuning in, and thank you for your support on the videos as always. Thanks everyone again for watching. An hour 16. Wow, that's a long time. I'll see you all for the live stream. No, I won't, because I'm on holiday next week. So the week after that, I'll see you for hopefully a preview of Not Flemington. Bye for now.